One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
The New York Times, the paper of record in our beloved republic, right? Trump uses 20 playbook to lay groundwork for dispute. He and allies spread distorted reports, inviting chaos if Harris wins race. And yours truly gets the above the fold photo. Why? They hate the fact that that this show is the activist show and that this is the leaders. The people listening to the show are the precinct strategy people and the leaders in the grassroots that are getting out and putting their shoulder to the wheel to make sure you have a massive effort. Also, the Cleta Mitchells and the Catherine Engelbrechts and the Jenny Beth Martins and all the folks out there that have been working on election integrity, along with Mike Davis and Bill McGinley, and Boris Epstein. And Boris is with the president, and we're going to try to get him to call in. You can't do video because it's too hard to pull down. But we're going to be relentless in this. The reality we know, and this is my rant last night that I think's got over 2 million hits, is that when you talk about the physicality of the early vote, the materiality of the early vote, we're in so much better position than I thought we'd be in. I thought... my belief was that on the Sunday of the mass mobilization weekend, targeting Tuesday, we have to have a massive get out the vote effort, and we traditionally do better on election day voting than they do, that there would be a couple of potential firewalls that they had set up that you saw were going to be huge issues. Those have not materialized, and we're going to go through math today to let you know now. All that means is victories within our grasp. We just have to execute. This is no longer about strategy. It's not even about tactics. This is pure political muscle. And it goes to the theme of this show over the last couple of years, of which you guys have embraced. And you, the audience, are the prime movers. Think about this for a second. Let's pull the camera back. If we had put out a proposition or a predicate of an idea, a framing a couple of years ago that actually working class people, Boris, and middle class people would have the wherewithal and have the election in their hand. It wouldn't be Wall Street. It wouldn't be about money. It wouldn't be about TV ads. It would literally be about going out. If we had said that at the time, you say, yes, I want it. That's exactly where we stand. Victory is within our grasp.
Yeah.
This is an historic revolutionary moment in American history. And guess what? It's on the eve of what happens next April 19th. It's the 250th anniversary of Lexington and Concord, of the shot heard around the world. You don't think that's providential? You don't think we're within 6 months of that? And here, in this day, and on Tuesday, she's not historical. Give me a break. She's not in the top 10. If you had to have a woman as president, she wouldn't make the top 10. You got Hillary and Michelle. You get so many others that if now in the breach, hey, maybe they try to make her historical. She's not a historical figure, and you know that they don't even take her seriously over there. Bill Maher's, laughing at her. They're goofing on her. Doesn't make her a bad person. It's just she's not particularly relevant. She doesn't have, wait for it, gravitas.
She doesn't have a lot of things. Gravitas is just one of them. So, but I don't really care what she has. After what I saw this morning, my question is, what do you have? You see, I'm going to show you some things if we have time. We're in our home stretch here. We've got one more rally after today, and then we've got 4 tomorrow. We have 5 rallies. I guess we can count this one, make it 6. 2 today, now and later, and then 4 tomorrow, 6. We have 6 rallies. Ashley always asks me, she texts me, she goes, how you doing? Are you tired? My wife always says, hey, honey, you all right? Are you tired? Hell yeah. I'm tired. I am really tired. This takes a lot of effort and a lot of work to do and to keep pushing and understanding what we're trying to do. But I'm even more, not concerned, more confident that he's tired. You see, he's 78 years old, and he's flying all across the country, and I know he's got money so he can sleep in a hyperbaric chamber if he wanted to. He's got the best doctors, he's got everything. But it's still tiring, and the reason why it's so tiring, many of us have done workouts. We have worked out in the gym, and you get extremely tired, go home, get off your feet, have a couple protein drinks, you're back, you're right back at it. You do your job, do whatever you need to do, go back to the gym tomorrow, you're right back at it. See, what makes this tiring is the emotional toll it takes. Because of how much it takes out of you, not for yourself. I turn off here and I go hang out with Robin. I jump in the pool, walk the little chihuahua, watch some football. Dolphins getting beat again. And I unplug. Because my confidence in the election is where it is. I don't have the constant turmoil of wondering what's going on. But when I turn this on and I see other people who do have that turmoil. The first comment I saw today on this broadcast, I flipped everything on and I just went. The first comment said, I hope he's in a better mood. The dude is fighting every obstacle you can imagine and those that you can't imagine. Understand that besides all of this and running for president and people being shot at him, shooting at him, and the media taking every shot they possibly can. You probably don't know because I told you not to watch, but the media came after him because he tried to tell everybody that the media should get shot at. Remember when he was asking, why don't I have glass over here? And he goes, over here I don't need it because, if they shoot here, they've got to go past the media, which I wouldn't have a problem with, which is exactly what he said. But they run to CNN and go, oh yeah, Trump said that somebody should take a shot at the media. I'm like, God, you people lie. You people lie. But in addition to after worrying about all that, and his businesses, and his family, and his grandkids, did you forget that on November 19th, after this election is done, there is still another big thing to come that I don't think a lot of people are focused on. You see, on November 19th, he's scheduled to be sentenced for the crime up in New York. You don't think that's been on his mind? This guy could actually win the election. And you notice how everyone's saying, oh, we won't know for 10, 12 days. Well, what happens in 10, 12 days? Oh, he gets sentenced. Do you not think that these people will put him in jail in Rikers Island, hopefully to take him out after he's won the election, before he's inaugurated? How many of you didn't remember that? That's still coming. So, on top of everything else, he's got to have in the back of his mind, they could actually seriously put me in jail. They could lock my ass up. And I got people in the chat here, which I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but they're saying, I hope he's in a better mood. I hope he's not. I hope this man is pissed off. I hope this man comes out and just... You heard what he said earlier. Michelle Obama got some stuff to talk about. I hope he starts dropping stuff. And if they try some funny business, I hope he starts dropping stuff on election night. You know, remember this. Trump, RFK Jr., probably some other people. All the stuff that they say they're going to release when they get in office, there is nothing preventing them from going scorched earth before they get in office. Hey, Jamie Raskin, you want to F around and find out? You think you're going to keep me out of office because of this and that? Well, you know what I know? You know what I got? How about we just drop this, Jamie, and what the Democrats have been doing? Have you guys thought of that? Have you thought about, in terms of the warfare that's coming after he gets elected, what may happen and why I've been telling you to get ready? And I've been telling you, get your shit in order. It's going to break loose. Don't believe me. They're putting up shit all around the Capitol. They expect a complete riot scene. They're boarding up in Oregon. So if they're doing all that because they're worried about stuff happening after the election, possibly putting Trump in jail, are you not prepared? Now, this is when I always talk about gold and silver. I'm not going to do that in this one. I'm not going to post anything about a sponsor. I'm asking you. If you're sitting back and you're like, oh, he seemed mad this morning. Oh, I hope he's in a better mood. Why would he be? You don't know what he knows. You don't know all this stuff going on behind the scenes. Am I talking sternly to some people? Yeah, because I feel like I just need to reach into the camera and do a little slapping. Wake up. This is real world. Shit's about to go down. We got 3 days. 3 days, and we don't know how this country is going to survive this next 3 days. The amount of gaslighting that's happening right now, I've never seen in my life. So let's continue what Steve Bannon has to say here.
Gravitas. We are here and now in a historic moment. And who's telling me that? Black men in Philadelphia. They're 54,000 votes light, according to the analytics, the numbers, not polling. I'm talking hard numbers. Hispanic men, Arab and Muslim men in Dearborn and in parts of Michigan. The Somalians yesterday in supporting Trump in Minneapolis. They're saying we can be part of this coalition. We can be part of it. And yes, there are compromises going to be made and agreements are made, but
now I showed you that yesterday about the Somalis, and I showed you about the Muslims. 2 huge groups in Michigan. Of course, I've talked to you about the black people. So, have you heard any of these other networks talk about the Somalis? Have you heard any of the other networks talk about the Muslims going for Trump? Is that just some mirage that they decide they don't need to cover? They're not. You can go even look on Fox, and you may see a story here or there, but you won't see it on CNN. You ever ask yourself why? Why are they ignoring all this stuff?
That's politics. Directionally, the big directions, using the big muscles in history, this is what we've got. And if you didn't have a fearless individual like Trump, look at that. Go back to Butler. He's gunned down. They hit him with a bullet. An assassin's bullet hits him, and he stands up and fist pumps. Who has the presence to do that? Who has the courage? Most guys would be crawling military style across the stage.
You talk to a lot of men, people in the barbershop and everything. Hey, what would you do in that situation? Most people, I hope you never are in that situation. I've been in that situation. I bounced, I did security for people, and I've had someone take a shot at me. But what do you think most people do in that situation? They'll talk shit now. Oh, if you pull that out of me, you know what's going to happen. Until it happens. Everybody wants to think they'll be Captain Marvel when it happens. Everybody says, I will do this, I'll do that, you better not do this to me. But they've never actually had to go through that. And so there are a lot of men who saw what this guy went through, who realized what that moment meant. And we're not talking about these idiots in news studios in New York and Washington. Because we know what they would have been doing. Because we see how they are. You see when you see people do man on the street, interviews, and people run up to politicians or they run up to people in the media, these guys can't wait to get away. Oh my God, there's somebody sticking a flipping microphone in my face. Oh, I got to get out of here. Get me in a limo. Hurry up. They're not ready for that. They ain't built for that. This man, number one, when he goes anywhere, he'll talk to anybody. I don't care what you got. What do you want? Yeah, you too? Yeah. He'll talk. He ain't afraid of anybody. Your people in the media, run, jump in the limos head first, get away. And then he goes and gets shot by a guy 140 yards away where there's no reason other than God why he's still here. And there are so many men, black, white, Hispanic, who understand that's who I want to be. I want to know that if shit hit the fan with me or my family and I'm out someplace, that's the kind of guy I want to stand up be in front of. That someone I know is going to be that way, be in front of me. Women. Don't even go with the women. Real women. Not the ones who think that baby removal is a sacrament. I'm talking about real women. Go, damn, that dude somebody just took a shot at him, and he jumped up and said, fight, 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 and they're getting him out of here, and he goes, wait a second. I got to get my shoes. See, everyone talks about the fight, fight, fight moment, and that was a great moment. But to me, as a guy, man, we need to get to safety. Hold up, man. It's my shoes. Okay? You knocked me over with 6 guys, and you're telling me to run, which, number one, I ain't running. Fight, fight, fight. But before I leave here, after I've gone fight, 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 and you can go look at the video, fight, fight, fight came first. And they're like, are you ready? No, we ain't ready. I got to get my shoes. And I thought to myself when I watched it, and I watched it over again, I'm like, damn. This, I don't think enough people realize that he stopped them and said, let me get my shoes. Everybody focused on this. Barry looked at that and went, wait a minute, that man still didn't run. Not only did he stop and say, fight, 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 he went, hold up, I gotta get my shoes. That told me more than the fight, fight, fight. I've never said anything to you guys. We're a couple days away from the election. I'm bringing that to you right now because as a man, that told me that he really wasn't afraid. The fight, 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 you can say that, that was his bravado. That was, in that moment, he somehow had the composure. 30,000 people out there. I got to let them know, I got to let the world know I'm not going out like that. But after that, when he said, I got to get my shoes, as a man, I looked at it and like, wow, he really wasn't afraid. He did what all of us would hope to do in that situation. Fearless? That was fearless, because most people would have said, if they had the presence of mind to do fight, the next moment would have been, get me the F out of here. Let's go. Let's go. All right, let's get to the car. I'm good. Did you remember that? I'd love to know in the chat how many of you guys remembered that instance. That a man who had rifles shooting all around him said, hold on, I got to get my shoes. That told me everything about his character right there. That was beyond politician stuff, political stuff. That was way beyond somebody running for president. That was a man who goes, F you, I'm not peeing my pants. I'm walking out of here like I came in. I'm walking out the front door. I'm not running out the back. And that's what Steve Bannon is talking about, a true leader. And trust me, men, lots of men across the spectrum went, yeah, yeah, that's a badass.
Enzo Milan, let's go back to the microphone. You can't coach that. You can't teach that. You either have that or you don't. The gods either give that to you or they don't. That's why he's a historic figure. All of these munchkins and gnomes that yammer and biting at his ankle, in history, they're all going to be forgotten about. You do understand? They're all going to be forgotten. Just like it's called the Age of Jackson. It's called the Age of Jackson for a reason. We don't kind of remember the other guys because President Jackson and Lincoln and Washington and FDR and Ronald Reagan.
Hold on, let me stop for a second because I know a lot of you guys like this. Here comes Trump Force One heading in and hitting the tarmac as he arrives in Kinston, North Carolina. Love seeing that bird come in like that. All right, let's continue, Steve. Keep talking.
Trump's at that level. I would actually argue, outside of Lincoln and General Washington, he's the third most important president in this country. And he will outlive, and what he did will outlive, and his courage will outlive all of his detractors. But and this is what is so powerful, it's you. They're not depending upon billionaires. They're not depending upon some big media apparatus. They're not depending upon, Deus ex machina. It's you. It's you. It's you. What determines the fate of this country is you. How many times in this nation's history has that happened? Yes. After Pearl Harbor, it was you. It was the greatest generation went out and won the thing. At different times in the Civil War, when the nation makes up its mind and they go out and normally on a bloody, we can do it here at the ballot box and secure a great victory, a monumental victory on the eve of Lexington and Concord, 250 years. Do you understand that makes us outside the Roman Republic? And I would actually argue, when you really look at the Republic days of it, the oldest republic in the history of mankind. What a better way to connect back to the unbroken chain.
There's a reason why he said this today. And it's the same reason I said what I said earlier, is because you've gone this far. You've done the practice. You've worked out in the off season. You got ready. You decided to play the game. You joined the team. You did all that months and months and months, maybe years ago. And now you got 2 days left. And now you're worried? Now? You're like, oh, I'm not really sure. The polls are looking like this, and he looked upset today. Seriously? You've spent the last 4 to 8 years, depending on when you jumped on the train, supporting this man? You went through 2020. You got pissed off. You got rebuked. You've gone through and watched my rallies and other people's rallies, and you followed along. You went through the entire Q stuff. You've done all of this stuff, and you're 2 days away from the Super Bowl? And now you're concerned? I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I don't understand how you've gone through, because I know personally what I've gone through. I know you've gone through it. And so now, instead of being, completely enthused about things, completely fired up, because now you've made it this far, you've actually made it to the Super Bowl. You chose to come here. You chose to be in this game at this moment. And now you're worried? See, that's where the incongruity comes in. That's where it's like, what? Man, if you were afraid, you should have done that in preseason. The very first time you threw the helmet on and, hey, well, that guy hit me. I got hit again. I don't know if this is for me. So you've gone through all the sweat. You've built up all your sweat equity. And you're right here, ready to go out there to the biggest game of the season, the biggest game of the year, the biggest game in your life. And now you're concerned? I'm telling you, no. Someone else is making you concerned. Someone else has stepped into your head with their psychological warfare that they're waging on you, because you've already proven you're ready. You can't get to this point in the, quote, season and begin worrying about, well, man, I don't know what's going on. Coach didn't look like he was confident today. Coach is pissed off and tired. At some point, you have to say, I am prepared to take this on. You know, when you're looking at a team and there's 100 guys on a football team, 53, 54 guys that travel, every single person on that team has their role. Even to the guy who just holds the ball so the guy can kick it. The holder. There may be he may play one time a game and he holds the ball. But you know what? That is so damn important, because how many games get settled basically by 3 points or less? It's crucial. And there's not a guy on a team that doesn't look at that guy in the fourth quarter and go, you ready? Every time they look down there, it's like looking up the clock, and there's 1:45 left and we're down by 1 or 2. You ready? Because I can't kick and I can't hold the ball, but I'm depending on you to make sure you're ready to do the one flipping job you're here for. And right now, your one flipping job is to never let anyone else see you sweat. You should never put in the chat, I'm concerned. I'm really worried. Nope. Because we all need each other. We can't let anyone else on this team think that you're not ready. You have to be ready. You either be ready or don't play. I don't want to walk out of the locker room, and I'm sorry for using so many sports analogies, but that's what my life has always been. I walk out the locker room, I get on that field, and I look at everybody standing for the national anthem, and I'm like, y'all ready? Yeah, you guys ready? Yeah, we're ready. I don't want anybody coming over to me going, hey man, you think we can do it today? You think the refs might be tough on us? You're going to get your butt whooped. And obviously I ain't whooping nobody's butt here, but I'm saying I need people, Trump needs people who are ready to do what they're supposed to do, and don't even let concern enter your thought process. And I'm especially talking to the guys. I know women, you didn't play sports for the most part probably, but you guys out there need to make sure that your women and your sisters and your wives and your cousins, hey, honey, we got this. We're okay. We're going to be okay. Well, what happens if, he doesn't win? We've prepped. We bought gold. We got food. All right. You telling me everything's going to be okay. We got this. That's what you should be telling every other person in the chat if they now step up and say, oh, man, he looked mad today.
Of that revolutionary generation with a new American revolution that brought in blacks and Hispanics and Arab Americans, all of it to working class people. This is what upsets them. Why do you think they call Trump a nativist and a racist and all that? And now in their face, and is that on the front page of the New York Times today? No, they're talking about the Taylor Swift young women coming out and quote unquote women over 65. Hey, that's all good. If you can prove it and it shows up on Tuesday, God bless you. But that's not the story. The story is the political class and the oligarchs on Wall Street and Silicon Valley in the military industrial the military intelligence complex stole the 2020 and ran him out of town. That's the reality. And against all odds, he's back. And why is he back? He had the moral fortitude and the just basic raw courage to say, I'm going to do this. And you in this audience said, hey, if you do that, I got your back.
But did you say that? Did you say that with conviction? Did you say that and mean it? If you run for president, Trump, I got your back. Or did you say, hey, I got your back until Sunday before the election, but when they start their psychological warfare, I don't know if I'm here for that. Because that's what sounds like to me today. Sounds like to me today that a bunch of people said, hey man, this man's been shot at. I've been with him. I've watched Barry's rallies. I've watched other people's rallies. I've been there. And now I'm not really sure what's going on. I'm concerned. You owe it to yourself. Never mind to Trump and other Trump supporters. You owe it to yourself. You've earned a position on this team. There's no time for you to turn around now because somebody's messing with your head. Because that's all they're doing. You know, when I started looking around today and seeing different things, I saw this. And it says NBC phone call with Donald Trump. And so they're talking about that poll. I wanted to get your take on this poll out of Iowa showing Harris in the lead. Is that concerning to you at all? Trump, no, it's a fake poll done by a Trump hater. Emerson, I'm up 10. I have others that I'm up 12 and 13. That's a fake poll done by Trump hater who oversampled a lot of Democrats. So why did Trump say that? Because there's all these other polls that say, I'm doing fantastic, but you're running a psyop on my people here, and you only want to focus on that one single poll that is complete BS, and that's what you want to talk about. Yeah, that would piss me off too. That's like throwing 6 touchdowns and getting 1 interception. People go, hey man, but you threw that interception. You know? Then you get this from Rasmussen, because now things are starting to turn. Rasmussen's head pollster, Mark Mitchell, suggests Trump is poised to secure a landslide victory that could resemble Ronald Reagan's historic landslide win over Jimmy Carter in 1980. That was at 223. And you say to yourself, how can all this stuff be real? How can he be possibly losing here? And another guy saying it was a landslide. Because they're messing with your head. Not that Mark Mitchell is. I find Mark Mitchell to be credible. I think he knows what he's talking about. And then Trump, he sees it. And he says, just 48 hours before Election Day, Trump issues a bold warning about Fox News, accusing them of being Democrats in disguise. We are now seeing a repeat of 2020 when it was Fox News that called Arizona for Biden. Don't be surprised if Fox News already has a plan in place regarding the results. This, as he put out, this was at 11 o'clock this morning. Fox News keeps putting on Democrat ads as part of their news program. Their sound bites are almost all of Harris and her Democrat friends, all of whom are on the shows. Fox News is not our friend. In capital letters. It's crazy. The head coach just told you what I've been telling you. Don't watch. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm not the one making this stuff up. I understand what he says. I understand how he's directing people and saying, that, nope, that. And he's telling you specifically, don't watch Fox News. So how many of you tuned into Fox News today? All right? Then he's got to fight this kind of BS. Trump campaign statement from Trump Communications Director Stephen Chung. So again, like I told you, they started with another hoax that Trump wants to have the media killed. he had to put out a statement. Trump was brilliantly talking about the 2 assassination attempts on his own life, including one that came within a quarter inch of a kit from killing him, something the media constantly talks and jokes about. The president's statement about the protective glass placement has nothing to do with the media being harmed or anything else. It was about threats against him that were spurred on by dangerous rhetoric from Democrats. In fact, President Trump was stating that the media was in danger. In fact, they were protecting him. He was protecting him, and therefore in great danger themselves, and should have had a glass protective shield as well. There can be no other interpretation in what was said. So understand here, this guy is fending off all kinds of BS from the media to the point where they thought, or not thought, they decided they were going to run with a story saying Trump wants the media killed. And you're concerned because you think that, yeah, come on, man. Come on, people. You're fighting this kind of stuff. Then you got this one. This is more about that New York Times poll. It says New York pollster Nate Kahn announces, and this is how they got their number. Nate Kahn announces what white Republicans were not answering their polls nearly as much as Democrats, and says the polling miss could be similar to 2020. Wait. You're telling the world that the people you needed to poll weren't responding, so you just ignored them and put out a poll that said he was 3 points down in Iowa, but then you admit that you really couldn't poll correctly because the white men said go pound sand. Then why would you put out a poll when you know the data's flawed? And then why would the news run with it knowing that the data's flawed? These are his exact words. Non-response bias. 4 years ago, the polls were thought to underestimate Trump's because of non-response bias, in which his supporters were less likely to take surveys than demographically similar Biden supporters. I ask questions to you guys sometimes almost like I'm a pretend lawyer. And other day I said, how many of you have been polled? And I don't know if you saw some of the responses, but some of the responses, actually quite a few of the responses were no, I've never been polled, and B, if I was polled, I would lie to them. Or I would hang up the phone. To wit, that's exactly what happened. People are calling up out of the blue. Hey, my phone's ringing. Yeah, how you doing? Yeah, I've got your phone number, and I do have some data on you. Oh, that's right. Can you tell me who you're voting for? Who the F are you? And how'd you get my number? Now I need you to lose my number. How's that for your poll? I'm not giving some unknown person my personal information so I can get on some list somewhere. Hey, the guy who was at 561XXX, he's a Trump supporter. Just want you to know that. And so white men are like, I've been down this road. We're not going to respond. We're just not going to tell you. So according to these final polls, white Democrats were 16% more likely to respond than white Republicans. 16%! That's a larger disparity than our earlier polls this year, and it's not much better than our final polls in 2020, even with the jam-a-demic. It raises the possibility that the polls could underestimate Mr. Trump again. And yet you still decided to run with it. And you didn't post that in any newspaper article, did you? Nobody talked about that they underestimated the Trump supporters when you put out Kamala at being 2 or 3 points up. So if 16% less, my math, 16 plus minus 3 was Trump's up by 13. But you put Trump's down by 3, even though you admit on page 95, section 4-2, hey, the white guys ain't talking. You didn't know that, did you? You didn't know that when you got concerned when they said that Kamala, whatever her name is, across these polls, New York Times poll, white Democrats were 16% likelier to respond than white Republicans. They didn't even tell anybody that. That stuff is coming out now, and people are like, man, you lied that bad? So as I'm giving you this information, which is widely available if you know where to look, like the lady in the last show, where's the breaking news? I don't see it anywhere. And my instant response to her is, where are you looking? You see, because if you're looking in all the normal places, then all the normal places have you. They control you. They can tell you what they want at this point. And they will continue to tell you what they want to tell you because you keep consuming stale milk. It's not making any sense. You tell me, did you know that 16% of white men decided we're not partaking in this poll in Iowa? Which, I've never been to Iowa, but I'm pretty certain that's a big, huge percent. White men. So if you know that white men didn't respond to your poll, and you put it out anyway, then you're lying POS. And every single one of these news outlets that went ahead and ran with that are lying POSs too. They knew. They saw that the data that said, hey, we didn't even count them people. They didn't answer the phone, so we just ran with it. You can tell me in the comments, did you know that? Did you know that they just went with it without even having a full data set? That's how I know Trump is winning. I've been saying over and over, people don't do certain things when they're winning. When you're up 35-7, you don't try to keep throwing the ball. You try to basically run out the clock. When you're winning, you run different than when you're losing. The losing side tries to throw Hail Marys. You're not winning, and then, oh, Trump's got dark MAGA on again. let me put this on so you guys can see it. Yeah, he switched the red hat and went back to a black hat, and again, I think he's walking out to the Undertaker music as he's heading to the stage, which of course we'll take as soon as he gets up there. I'll leave it on because I know some of you guys want to see it, but he's got dark MAGA on today, ready to go in Kinston, North Carolina. So hopefully he got on his plane after the earlier rally, got some nice warm tea, had a chance to basically put some honey and lemon in his throat, and is ready to go. So that was my wanting you to know what happened earlier in the day. And hopefully it helps all of you become, much more astute into understanding what's going on behind the scenes, because if you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, they're not going to tell you. They're going to continue to lie, obfuscate, cheat, do anything. They have to throw Hail Marys right now. They have to swing for the fences. The people who swing for the fences strike out a lot. But they have to do everything they can to shake your game. Because if they don't shake your will, and if they can't break you away from everything, then they're failing. You can't fall for it. So, do I know what kind of mood he's going to be right now? No, but I do know they've got the left side of the thing. They've got the glass up this time. So he noticed it last time and said, hey man, they didn't put the glass up, and the glass is there at this point. He knows he was standing bare-assed over here to his left and went, hey man, why is there no glass here? So if someone's over here in the field somewhere, they got a straight shot. I'm sure that pissed him off. So I'm not sure what kind of mood he's going to have right now. I think, if I were to guess, he's going to basically reiterate the same stuff, let people know, they're playing games, they're lying to people, and you need to get out and vote. You need to do your part at this point. Kinston, North Carolina. And then from here, we're going to Macon, Georgia tonight. But that's why I cover every rally, is because something different might happen. And this morning, it was different. It was a lot different. This guy was pissed off. So I'm not sure how he'll be today. I know he's got those ladies, what does he call them? The ladies from North Carolina. Since he's in North Carolina, I'm sure they're going to be there. And I love it when he does them at airports because the crowd is big. As soon as he pops up here.
Thank you very much. Wow. That was very nice. Well, a very special hello to North.
And let me know about the volume. How's it sound?
We've had a lot of luck in North Carolina. We won it twice. We won every primary. We won everything this place. We even named that beautiful little granddaughter Carolina. She's like perfect. She's so beautiful. I'm thrilled to be back in this beautiful state with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. I see some of them right in front of me, right? Like the man right over there who went through hell, right? Went through a little hell, but he's better looking now than he was when this little accident occurred, huh? The great Steve Scalise. Thank you, Steve. You're a better looking guy now, Steve. What the hell's going on here? He's a great guy. I'd like to begin by asking a question, a very simple one. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? Very simple. No, I don't think so. With your vote on Tuesday, I will end inflation. I will stop the invasion of criminals coming into your country. Your country is under siege. We have criminals of all variety, murderers, drug dealers. We have some of the worst terrorists in the world in our country right now. They may live right by you. They let them in by the tens of thousands. The worst administration in the history of our country. And if we let this slip away, we should have our heads examined. I mean, we have a big lead. We have a big lead. The fake news, they don't tell you this. We have a beautiful lead. All we have to do, Mike, all we have to do is go out on Tuesday and vote, vote, vote. We're going to win it. And if you do that, they can't win, okay? I wouldn't have said that a week ago. You know, this early voting, we've set records in early voting, which is something Republicans just don't do. They wait. But we have records. But you go out and vote, vote, vote. Don't, like, when I just came into that really beautiful plane and I have all sorts of access, you know what they're saying? They're projecting us to win, some people. I don't want you, no. I want you to forget I said that. Is everybody have a bad memory like the Democrats do, okay? They have the worst memory in history. They're the worst people too. But look, you got to vote. So forget what I just said. Forget what the guy some guy projected me. I probably like him. But we're really doing well. We're setting records, but we have to go out like we're on the 4-yard line, not the 5-yard line, slightly better. All we have to do is carry that ball over that thing. We get into that end zone, it's over. And see, that's within our control. The nice thing is, it's within our control. That's something nice about that, right? Because we're doing really well. Amazing the way they went out. And I'll tell you something about North Carolina. So I was one of the first people down, maybe the first person. I followed him, and I followed that sucker storm. I followed it. But then I said, I better let them just get their stuff. And I figured FEMA would do a good job. They did a horrible job under the auspices of these two people. I got to say these two people. And you know, right now I'm saying, who the hell's running the country? Nobody even knows. Can you imagine President Xi of China or Putin or anybody they want to call? They say, who the hell's running that country? It's the first time we have a country where we don't even know who is running it. Nobody knows. Let's call the United States. Who do we speak to? Most of them say Donald Trump. Just call Donald Trump. You know? That's what they're saying. But we're going to bring back the American dream. It's going to be brought back at the highest level. And this is all you have to know. Kamala broke it, and I will fix it, and it'll go quickly. Yeah, thank you. So, this is the big moment. We have a situation where if we do the right thing, we're going to have an America that will be bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, stronger than ever before. If we do the wrong thing, we're going to go home empty, and our country's going to fail. Our country's failing. We're a failing nation, by the way, in case you had any question. Hard to believe, right? But this election is a choice between whether we will have 4 more years of incompetence and failure, or whether we will begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. And you know, we're starting them from behind. We're like starting them from behind the end zone to bring back the football, and we're like off the field because of what they've done to this country. In 4 years, what they've done to this country, they should be ashamed of themselves. This will be America's new golden age. It's going to be a golden age. We're going to do it. We're going to, you know, I've gone 62 days in a row doing this. 62. Can you imagine? And last week she took 1 vacation, 2 vacations. I said, you're running for something that's 100 times bigger than the Super Bowl. How the hell do you take a day off? You can't. Even people that like me and they want me to, oh, please, sir, be nice. We just want you to enjoy your life, sir. I said, are you kidding me? We have a chance to turn this country into a miracle. It's going to be incredible what we do. I'm not taking any days off. We're not taking any days off, right, Mike? We don't believe in taking days off. No, but she takes days off. I don't think so. In fact, just the opposite. I don't think so. I was going to say, maybe she's smarter than us. I don't think so. Now, that would be a story. Wouldn't that be a big story? I don't think so. She's done a terrible job. He has. They both are. They all say, please, sir, just mention her. He's gone. He said, yeah, but, you know, he has something. I usually like to say they did, but for purposes of this speech, we'll just say that Kamala did. Because nobody knows. If I use the name Harris, nobody has any idea who the hell I'm talking about. I don't know what that is. I say Harris, and they say, who's Harris? Nobody knows. Every problem facing us can be solved, but now the fate of our nation is in your hands. It's in your hands. If we win this state, that will be so big. And you know what I love about this state? You had Hurricane Helene, and I'll tell you what, I've watched a lot of hurricanes. I've never seen a hurricane that went from here down to Miami. I mean, you know, got the end result of it. It was very wet down there, not devastation like in North Carolina and Georgia. They've all, I'll tell you, states have done a job, but the FEMA's really let them down. They've really let them down. But when you look at what's happened and when you look at the kind of devastation, what was amazing to me, and I thought 100% of the people, I was not thinking about the election. As time went by, I started thinking about the election. In the meantime, I had been there, raised a lot of money for the site, saw tremendous people like Franklin Graham. They were there so early, and he's always there. He's amazing. He's got a lot of Billy Graham in him. Got a lot of Billy Graham in Franklin. And, you know, he doesn't endorse people, but he endorsed me. Is that nice? He endorsed me. He doesn't endorse people. But you know what? The amazing thing is that North Carolina was devastated, and yet when I said when it was time to start thinking, we still have to think about this election, I said, I've just seen some of the worst devastation that I've seen them all, because I used to go and follow the tornadoes, and we've seen a lot of bad things. But you had houses that were ripped apart. The foundations were ripped out of the ground. You had things that you just don't see. No trees for 2 miles. I mean, big, giant trees were ripped right out of the ground and floated down in rivers that didn't exist. Areas that never saw water before became lakes and rivers. And I said, you know, it's largely Trump areas that were hit, meaning people that like Trump, right? They're largely Trump. I said, the amazing thing is that we're going to have a problem, and I want them to just be safe. I don't want them to come back, and they don't have to register, they don't have to vote. So people lost their homes. A lot of people were missing and not found, as you know. A lot of people died. Quite a few people died. And yet people losing their loved ones. And I figured, and I said to my people, I can't imagine more than 50% of what had voted in the past. I mean, I looked at areas, they were barren, they were gone, they were just devastated. And I said, so I figured if you got 50% of the vote would be lucky. I doubt you'd get, I would say 35 to 50%. And that was it. Nothing you can do about that. Just try and help people. We did. We tried to help people. Here's the amazing thing. Early voting, and the numbers finally came in. The areas that were hit so hard broke the record for registration. Think of that. And for voting. They broke the record. They never had a higher record. And these are people that don't even have a house anymore. The people of your state, the people of North Carolina are amazing. I'm telling you, it's amazing. I would have said, when I said 50%, I was sort of saying, I hope people broke the record every single day, and now cumulatively, the record's been broken. Now you only have to do one more thing. You have to get out on Tuesday and vote, and we're gonna break our own records. It's gonna be a big difference, big difference. So on Tuesday, stand up. You have to do it, and we have to tell Kamala that you've had enough. You're the worst vice president in history. You did the worst job ever on hurricane salvage and removal and just the security. What they've done is so bad. You know, they spent their money on the migrants coming in, on illegal migrants. They don't have any money. FEMA's got no money. And just look at her and say, Kamala, we're not going to take it anymore. Kamala, you're fired. Get the hell out of here. You're terrible. You're terrible. They're terrible people. There's something wrong with them, actually. There's a lot of things wrong with them. But we got to win this race. If we don't win, I can't even imagine, because we're right there. We're right at this step. Let's go get it over the line. And remember, you know, traditionally, not only traditionally, like every single time, the Republicans vote late, the Democrats vote early, and an amazing statistic is, first time ever that I know of, we have far more votes than they have in the early voting. Think of that. It's never happened before. I think last time we were hundreds of thousands of votes down. In fact, I remember I looked, I said, how the hell do we catch them? And we caught them and fairly easily won, right? We were way down, and then we came in on the Tuesday. We call them Tuesday voters. I think it has something to do with, like, you like to see your ballot go in the box. You like to be there. You want to watch it. You want to touch it and feel it. But we were hundreds of thousands of votes down last time. And the first time, and it's like a racehorse, you know, he's way out in the lead, and somebody else, Secretariat's coming behind, and Secretariat catches him, and not even that hard. But it's really something that we're going to do. It's something that's expected, and the difference is that we're actually starting from in front. I mean, so we're starting from in front, and it's an amazing thing. But the amazing thing is, with that devastation, the people in North Carolina got out and voted in record numbers. I can't believe it. Thank you. I love you. Thank you. And everything we've been fighting for so hard to achieve for the past 9 years, it all comes down to the next 2 days. We've been waiting 9 years for this, if you think. We've been waiting 9 years. And don't forget, we got more votes than any sitting president in history last time. We won in 2016. We got millions and millions more votes. You know, Barack Hussein Obama got far fewer votes his second time. Remember, did anyone ever hear of Barack Hussein Obama? He's been nasty, hasn't he? Oh, he's been a nasty person. He's been a little nasty. I'm not, I'm supposed to be a nice person. Oh, I was so happy to see that he was nasty. It's now or never. This moment will never come again. Never going to come again. 2 days. 2 days. For the sake of your family, for the sake of your country, for your freedom, you have to get out and vote. And I love that phrase because I saw it with a fighter. It was in the 15th round. That was when the fights had the championship rounds. It was unbelievable. Like maybe Roberto Duran, and he was a little bit behind, and he was a great champion. And they said the same thing as I said, very similar, except they were a little more violent about it as they smack him. They're smacking him. Roberto, this is for your family. And he got up and he went wild and he knocked the hell out of the guy. You ever see that? It's great. I love that stuff. Don't we love it? We love guys like Dana White that do such a good job, right? UFC. Yeah, but he said Roberto, and they're smacking him. And, different kind of a champion. But we're champions, and this whole state, everybody here is a champion. We can all be big winners. So everybody, and grab anybody you can. Just grab them and say, we're going to vote. Who wants to watch sports on television when you have that? This is the biggest sport of all. I'm telling you, I was saying, do you think this is bigger than the Super Bowl by 100 times or 1,000 times? It's like 1,000 times. These guys, so much is made of the Super Bowl. This is 1,000 times bigger than the Super Bowl. With your help, we are going to defeat Kamala Harris. We are going to win North Carolina. And we are going to make America great again. That man. 4 years of Kamala have delivered nothing but economic hell for American workers. Her inflation disasters, they caused inflation. They screwed up my energy policy, and the prices went up and everything else. It's real simple. In addition to that, they way overspent. They got trillions and trillions of dollars. Hopefully we get rid of Mitch McConnell pretty soon, because he helped them. That guy. Can you believe he endorsed me? Can you? Boy, that must have been a painful day in his life. Every time I think of it, he didn't have to do that. He provided the necessary votes. What a disgrace. But we have great Republicans running, and you have one of the best of all right here, David McCormick. You know that. Where's David? Is he around someplace? We just left him. He's a great guy. But her inflation disaster has made life unaffordable, and the cost to families is $30,000 a year just in higher prices. That's what you paid. And just this week, we had the worst jobs report in modern history with only 12. Okay, so I can't believe this has happened. Thank you, sir. I can't believe it. The report came out, they thought it was going to come out after the election. This is the worst job and jobs report that I've ever seen. So usually it's, 250,000 jobs have been, because, you grow and it's almost automatic. So I guess you saw this, Steve. That was probably the first thing you saw. 12,000 jobs were created. That's like for Walmart. That's not for a country, big country. 30,000 private sector jobs were lost. They were killed in a single month, 30,000 jobs. These were the numbers that just came out. Nearly 100,000 manufacturing jobs were wiped out from the beginning of the year. Those are the really primo jobs. 150,000 Americans joined the unemployment rolls in October, and nearly 250,000, 250,000 people dropped out of the labor force. That's like a depression. Just think, a few months ago, they fraudulently claimed, and it was a fraud. They claimed, this is a serious fraud, that they had 818,000 jobs were created in the country, and none were created, zero. You know about that, right? And they got caught by a whistleblower. A whistleblower blew the whistle on Crooked Joe and Kamala. They're crooked people. They're bad people. Got to win this. They get them out of there, get them out of there fast. So think of that. They created 818,000 jobs. Wow. And even that only brought it up to being okay, but it was, it wasn't like a disaster, but it brought it up to okay numbers. People were a little surprised because everyone knows the economy stinks. So all these jobs, and it added up to being, like not a big story. But a whistleblower was in there where they do the statistics, and he couldn't take it. And he blew it out of the water. And the press, the fake news back there, they hardly covered the story. And now they've just revised past job reports down another 112,000. So that's almost 1 million jobs. And it was all fake reporting. If I did that, they'd say, all right, let's start up. Here we go again. Let's go. Because I've been under investigation more than the late, great Alphonse Capone. Has anyone ever heard of him? He's a lovely man. If he was with Mike Lindell for dinner and Mike offered him a couple of pillows, and if he didn't sleep well because he didn't like Mike's pillows, Mike had almost no chance of living. He would dispose of Mike somewhere in a foundation of a building or something. You would never see Mike again. Mike does not want to have dinner with Scarface, right? I've been under investigation, Mike, more than Scarface. Can you believe it? Alphonse Capone, the meanest of them all. He was the meanest. If he didn't like somebody, it was over. He said... I just left another good place in North Carolina. I had some of the best quips today. You have a wit about you. Who the hell made that say? Gee. No, I had some guy in the other one. He was screaming that stuff, and it was so good I had to stop, and the place went crazy. Now I have a new genius back here. No. That's amazing. Meanwhile, 100% of the net jobs created, you've heard this, it's an amazing thing. They've all gone, 100% have gone to migrants. Did you know that? All the jobs that were created. These are depression-type numbers, and that's where we're heading if she's elected. I always said, I don't want to be Herbert Hoover. It's so terrible. He became president, and then fairly shortly after, they ended up with the greatest depression of our times. 1929 style depression. That's what you're going to have with her. She has no clue. She's like a child with economics. Have you ever seen answers like she gives? They ask her a question about the economy, and she says, I grew up in a middle-class family, and we had a grass yard. Oh, it was beautiful grass. Oh. Under my leadership, we are quickly going to turn this economic nightmare into an economic miracle. We're going to turn it around very fast. You know why? For a lot of reasons, but you know why? Because we have a thing called liquid gold, and we have more liquid gold under our feet than any other nation in the world, including Saudi Arabia and Russia. And we took it from number 4 to number 1 in 2 years, and I was way number 1, way higher than the two of them. And we were going to become energy dominant very shortly, and then we had a nasty little election that took place. And this time they're watching a little bit differently, I guess. Who would have thought that could have happened? But we're going to make America wealthy again. We're going to make America affordable again. We're going to get those prices down. We're going to get them down quickly. And much of it's going to be coming right from underneath your feet. Much of it. And we can do that, other countries can't. So it's a great thing that we have, and we're 2 days away from the best jobs and biggest paychecks and brightest economic future the world has ever seen. We're going to turn it around fast. And you know an industry I want to bring back? A lot of you aren't going to care about this so much because you're not in that industry. The furniture industry. You had the best craftsmen in the whole world. I used to come down, I'd build a hotel, and I'd always go to North Carolina and come to the different, I knew every guy, every place. It's here a lot. And then one day I said, what happened to that company? I love them. They did a building for me 2 years ago. I said, what happened? Sir, they're closed. They've basically moved into China. The guys have stayed here. The talent, they're so talented. I used to take an arm of a chair. I said, could you do a little more action on it? Sir, watch. Ding, 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 ding. I said, that's it. Would you like us to carve your face on the chair? Yes. It was like the greatest artists in the world. These guys were unbelievable, what they could do. And so then we start buying furniture from China. And you know what happens? I build this beautiful hotel. Happened a few times. Not good. Very bad. A guy comes in, he's got lots of money, and he comes into the hotel, wants to impress his wife and or girlfriend. And he comes, and he comes in, and he has this beautiful chair, looked the same. Actually not as good, but it looked good enough. And he sits down in the chair, and the chair collapses, and he goes on his ass. And then I get sued. This was China. No, we're going to get that business back. We're going to do it through a serious use of tariffs, because you know what? We took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China. Nobody else took in 10 cents. Nobody else. Barack Hussein Obama, you know what he took in from China? Nothing. Nobody did. Nobody took in anything. I took in hundreds of billions of dollars. I saved our steel industry. I put tariffs on the steel. You wouldn't have any steel. You would, for all the things you make, you wouldn't have any steel. You'd use plastic. But then you'd find out plastic isn't quite as strong as steel. You'd say, we don't want to build a plastic gun or something that you build. And no, we did a hell of a job. But I took in hundreds of billions. And a lot of people like me, a lot of business people like me. The steel industry likes me. And I wouldn't approve, by the way, the sale of U.S. Steel. This was a great, great company 60, 70 years ago. Our greatest company. And now, as you know, Japan wants to buy it. And I like Japan. I loved Abe. Shinzo Abe was assassinated. He was a great man, that one. He was loved in his country, too. He was a great friend of mine. But I went back to him. I said, Shinzo, we have to talk. He goes, I know what you're going to say, Donald. I know what you're going to say. I said, how do you know what I'm going to say? It has to do with the trade agreements, right? I said, yes, it does. How did you know that, Shinzo? Because you're smart. And nobody ever came to see us about that. We would have been open because it was a one-way ripoff of the United States. Japan got everything. We got nothing. And when I said to him, Shinzo, I have to see you, he was a friend of mine. I said, I hate to tell you, but we're going to have to change this. He said, I know what you're talking about. I said, you really understood it? He said, nobody ever came to us. We would have done something. We'll end up, unfortunately, having to do more for you than somebody else, which turned out to be right. And don't forget, I started from a little bit of a bad base because we had an agreement. So, you know, it's better if we didn't have an agreement. But he was great. We made a new deal. We made a new deal with South Korea. We made a great deal with China, but because of COVID, I don't even talk about one of the best deals I made ever. China has to buy $50 billion worth of our product. And I heard it was going to be 15. I said, how much are they buying, to my negotiators? Sir, $15 billion. I thought they said 50, Mike. I mistook it. 15, they said. So I said, how much? 15 billion. I said, oh. So then they come in, the deal's almost finished. I said, tell me about the deal. Sir, they're going to buy $15 billion. I said, not 15. You told me 50. They said, no, We said 15, sir. I said, you didn't say 50. You told me 50. I think they were probably right, but I didn't care. I stayed there. I said, go back and tell them it's 50. And they did. And you know what? They agreed to it. Can you believe it? But I don't talk about it because of COVID. We did a great job in COVID, but, nobody knew what it was. Nobody had any idea what the hell was happening. But it came out of the lab, you know that, the Wuhan lab, and every country in the world suffered so greatly. $60 trillion and tremendous amounts of death all over the world. Look at Italy and France. The countries were just destroyed over what I think was just incompetence. I don't believe they did it on purpose. They took a big hit, too, by the way. At the end, it looked like they escaped it. Man, did it get them, and it got China hard at the end. But Kamala talks about fixing the economy. I saw her yesterday. We're going to, when I get to office, she said, when I get to office, she's in office now. Just get the guy out of bed and tell him to sign the document. She said, when I get to office, we're going to do this or that, and, all stuff that she's never going to do anyway. And I say, why didn't she do it? Why doesn't she do it now? I said that in the debate. Why didn't you just do this stuff? I'm going to do this and that. But this was the worst yesterday because she said, I'm going to do, as soon as I get to office, she's in office now. So if it's any good, do it now. But what she's doing isn't good, so I didn't make a big deal out of it. Kamala's plan will impose the largest tax hike in American history and raise taxes on the typical American family by more than $3,000 a year. And she lies. Everything. She said, I'm going to impose a sales tax on the people. No, I'm going to impose a tariff on the outside world, and they're going to pay it for their privilege of coming in and robbing our jobs and robbing our companies for years and years. They like to say that the sales tax is created by a tariff. No, it's not. This is look, I had a lot of tariffs. I took it. The most beautiful word in the dictionary to me is tariff. If I had more time, I'd say, no, it's third. I say religion and love. Religion, love, and tariff in that order. But I don't have enough time to do this, Steve. I got to get going here. I'm a little bit late. So, the most beautiful word is the word tariff, because it's going to make us so rich. And we're going to save our companies. We're going to stop them from leaving. If I were here, I would have imposed a tariff on these people that drop furniture in our country for 1/3 the price, and it was no good. The furniture was garbage. I would have saved all your companies. Nobody would have, but I'm going to do it now. Because, they're still, if they want our companies to move and get out, if we build a car and we send it to China, they won't accept it. If we send it to even Japan, they're friendly, but, some of our worst trading partners are the ones we get along with, like the European Union. They're brutal. They're brutal. It's, this nice village, let's go to a village. Austria, and all these wonderful places. They're brutal. We're going to lose $350 billion with the European. We lose with everybody. And it can be changed around in literally a matter of hours. And the president has the right to impose the tariffs on these countries that have been hurting us. They've really been hurting us. It's so ridiculous. They end up closing. Everybody loses their job. Then they make it in their country, and then they send it back to us with no tax, no nothing. And we lose it. We lose the company. We lose the jobs. We lose sort of everything, and it's so stupid. And all we have to do is the same thing, but we have a big advantage because we have the pot of gold. See, ours is really the pot of gold. Ours is the one that they want, but we won't have that pot of gold very long because the way these fools are running our country, we're going to be a busted country pretty soon. My plan will massively cut taxes for workers and small businesses, and we will have no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and for our seniors, no tax on Social Security benefits. And our seniors need it. our seniors, because most of the seniors are on a fixed income. I'm not, but many of them are. Did you see Truth Social yesterday? It's become a rocket ship, like Elon's rocket ship. Truth. No, it's become a rocket ship. But most seniors are on, fixed income, and then they have to pay tax. I don't want to, because by my doing that, you will be at least breaking even for the pain that these people have caused you by allowing this inflation. Think of it. You would have had no inflation. You would have had no war with Ukraine and Russia. That wouldn't have happened. You wouldn't have October 7th with Israel. They had no money. Iran was broke. They had no money for Hezbollah. They had no money for Hamas. They had no money. They were totally broke. Everybody was broke over there. The bad guys, the good guys were doing fine. And you know what? Everybody would have done fine. All we wanted to do, and they would have done it, such an opportunity. Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. Nuclear weapons are the greatest single threat to our country, but to the entire world. The power. I rebuilt our nuclear base. I rebuilt our whole military. We had jet fighters that were 52 years old. We rebuilt it with a lot of help from some of you great people in the Senate and congressmen who are here today, actually, a lot of them. And we rebuilt our military. And in rebuilding, I rebuilt, either renovated or bought brand new nuclear. And I know what it does. I know what it does. My uncle told me many, many years ago, he was a professor. He told me many, many years ago about nuclear. And I said, there's no way, Uncle John. But he was right. He was right. He was very smart. To rapidly reduce inflation, I will end Kamala's war on American energy, and we will drill, baby, drill. I'm going to drill, and I'm going to cut your energy prices in half within 12 months. You're going to be cut in half. 12 months. And we built 500 miles of wall. I heard the wall. We built 500 miles more, 571 miles of wall. We're going to add 200 more. Think of it. We were going to add 200 more. And incredible what's happened. It's really incredible to see the devastation that they've left in our country. And we're going to turn it around. We're going to turn it around so fast. You're going to be so happy. It's going to be a miracle. To bring back millions of jobs, we're going to lower taxes on businesses, but only for those businesses that make their product in America. And if these companies don't make their products here, then they will pay a tariff when they send their products into the United States for the privilege of competing with our workers and are now protected companies. We're going to protect these companies that move in. They're going to move in by the thousands. They're going to move right here, but they're going to move in by the thousands. And we're going to protect. We're going to really protect these companies. We have to, otherwise they'll leave just like the other companies left. They're going to be protected, and you know who else is going to be protected? Our workers are going to be protected, and they will not have had a jobs fair like we're going to have. You know, I deal with, I don't know, there's something nice about automobiles and automobile production. And I was in Detroit at the Detroit Economic Club making a speech a few weeks ago. And Detroit's been devastated, you know, just years and years and years of abuse by other countries. They took their cars. A friend of mine builds auto plants, and I said, you know, about a year and a half ago, I said, I want to see an auto plant. He said, okay, when do you want to do it? I said, anytime. He said, you'll have to come to Mexico. I said, why Mexico? He said, because that's where the big ones are being built. I said, you mean so they build them and they send them into the U.S. across the border? Yes. The big one, the biggest one of all is being built by China. It's massive. And I'm going up then a couple of weeks ago to Detroit, and I'm trying to explain to them what's going on. They're stealing their businesses. They're taking everything. And I said, listen, very important. We're not going to let this happen. And I let everybody know at this forum, and actually a little before the forum, that I was going to impose a 100% tax on any cars that are coming in from Mexico made in this plant that was only built to rip off Michigan and rip off Detroit. This plant was bigger than practically all of their plants put together. It would have devastated them. And I made the statement very strongly, and that was about it. Sort of forgot about it. And I saw him like a couple of weeks ago in the audience. And I said, would you do me a favor? Tell that gentleman, his name is John, I want to see him. He builds auto plants, the biggest, I think he's the biggest guy, biggest in the world. He's very good at it. And he said, comes backstage. I said, hey, John, how's that big plant that you're building or getting ready to build in Mexico, owned by China? How is it? Oh, sir, that's been dropped. I said, what? He said, they dropped it quietly last week. They're not going to build the plant because they think you're going to become president and you're going to put tariffs on the cars that come across. And they've decided that they'd lose a fortune, and they've dropped the project. How about that? Does the press write that? I don't think so, but that's okay. You know who knows it? The people of Michigan, because we're up in Michigan too, and we're going to win Michigan, and not necessarily because of that, but we're going to win Michigan. But isn't that beautiful? And I did that without even being president. It's pretty good. So we're going to protect you, and we're going to protect them, and we're going to protect everybody. We're going to protect. And by the way, if they want to build the plant anywhere in the country, here, or I don't care where. I'd love to have a couple of them built right in the middle of Detroit, to be honest with you. Wouldn't that be nice? You know, they've suffered badly. No, they've been ripped. But they're going to build it. I said, if you want to build the plant, and I told him to tell the people, big, massive company, tell the people I would be honored if they want to build our big, beautiful plant here, hire our workers, we're fine with that. And we're not going to charge them any tariffs, you see. I say the way you get rid of the tariffs is to build your plants in the United States of America. That's what we want. And they're going to be coming in here by the hundreds and by the thousands, that we're going to have them come right here. So it will be really, in the truest sense of the word, it's going to be America first. It's all about America first. As we rescue our economy, I will also restore our borders. And over the past 4 years, Kamala has orchestrated the most egregious betrayal that any leader in American history has ever inflicted on our people. What she has done to our country, and him too, but he put her in charge. She never made one call. Border Patrol endorsed me 2 weeks ago. You know that? They said, he's the greatest president in history. I said, does that include Abraham Lincoln and George Washington? They actually said, yes, it does. But they also said, one other guy, he's sort of a young guy, like 38, he said, Border Patrol, he said, he's the greatest president in my lifetime. I wasn't impressed with that statement. So I liked the other one better, the captain. I liked him much better. He said, big difference between in history or in my lifetime if you're 38 years old. I think he was young. I think he was like 30. He's the best president in my lifetime. I mean, you know, give me a break. They're great guys, though. These are great guys. And they gave me the strongest endorsement. They said that, the best president, and the best president by far we've ever had on the border. We had okay, put that sign up, my favorite sign. Put that sign. This is my favorite graph. Oh, I sleep with that. I wrap it around, I kiss it at night. Because without that graph, I'm not here. I hate to tell you. I'm not here without that. But importantly, look at the big red arrow at the bottom. That was the lowest point of illegal immigration ever that we had known in recorded history of our country. And look what happened. That was when I left. That was my last day. It was the lowest point, and that included human trafficking, and mostly in women. I hate to tell you that. Do you know that they're missing 325,000 children, and the press doesn't talk about that? Think of what that means. You know, people say, oh, 325, you know, 325. Do you know what that means? 325,000 children are missing or dead. They came in through the border. Many of them probably are slaves. They say sex slaves, actually, but many of them are slaves. And they came in through 325,000. Their parents will probably, for the most part, never see them again. What a place we're living in. What a place we're living. But that graph illustrates how good. And then take a look to the right. That's when these lunatics took over. Kamala. That's when she took over. Our great borders are. Those numbers are unprecedented anywhere in the world. There's never been a third world country that allowed. Millions and millions of people came in. Look at that. It's like an Elon Musk rocket ship. Look at it. Now look at those numbers. So it's a very sad thing. She has violated her oath, eradicated our sovereign border, and unleashed an army of gangs and criminal migrants from prisons and jails and insane asylums and mental institutions from all around the world. They come from Venezuela. They come from the Congo in Africa. A lot of people coming from the Congo. And where in the Congo? From their jails. They're emptying their jails into the United States of America, stealing countless American lives. People are being killed on a daily basis. Today, I want you to hear directly from a mother whose world has been shattered because of the open borders, stupidity of Kamala. Please.
Sunday night, I asked her to not stay up super late because of her coming to work with me. I asked her to not stay up super late because of her coming to work with me in the morning to do her summer school. She said, okay. I told her good night and I love you. I went to bed, not realizing that was going to be the last time I saw her.
We're best friends. Yeah. We're going to shake it again.
I woke up to notice she wasn't in her bed. I'm in my heart trying not to lose my mind because I don't know where she is. I finally remembered her phone had a location on, and her phone was pinging just 2 minutes down the road, right behind the skate park. I start driving to the direction the phone was being pinged at, and I see a couple cop cars with lights on. I see yellow tape, and immediately my heart drops and sinks to the bottom of my stomach.
All right, so this is the part of the video that I have to interrupt because the people upstairs and the way they do things, they don't want you knowing what happened to young Jocelyn. They think it's too graphic, that you are, beyond the capacity to be able to basically understand that this young woman's life was taken under such bad pretenses. So I have to come in here and make sure that you understand that you're not an adult enough to hear what's actually happening. But luckily, many of you have already heard the story, so you understand. What I do have to tell you is some breaking news came out, which is going to just make you laugh. It's another poll. And this poll came out, and it's basically a comedy of errors that's going on in the pollsters. So when we're done, I'm going to show you this poll, and you'll get an idea. It's really funny. But we'll go back to Trump in 1 second here, and there's one more video he will show, which is about the Tres Leches, and we can't show that either. So we are almost back to Trump. The reason why you see this wire is my going through all these rallies, my other headset died finally. There's no more batteries to it. So here we go. Let's go back and listen to Trump as this sad video is now coming to a close. But by no means do we ever want to forget about Jocelyn. Not at all. Sad story, extremely sad story, and it didn't need to happen. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. All right, let's get back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Thank you. That's taking place in different forms, different ages. but it's taking place in our country now by the thousands. These are some of the worst criminals in the world that are coming in. These are criminals the likes of which we've never even seen. They make our criminals look like nice people. These are tough, tough people. MS-13, they don't like using guns because they're not painful. They use knives, and they chop people up, Long Island. And if we didn't have the great patriots of ICE, who are tough people, but they love our country, and Border Patrol, they're great. They want to do their job. They're not letting them do the job. But if we didn't have those people, it would be unbelievable. We moved thousands of MS-13 gang members out of our country. And that's why Border Patrol says there's never been anybody like Trump. Tom Homan said it. He said he's the best we'll ever have. You'll never get better. We had a perfect thing. When this guy used to go to the beach all the time, all he had to do was leave it the way we had it. And it was just getting better, better, better from years of abuse. But we had it down to a science, and we'll do it again. The difference is it's much worse now than it was in 2016. You know, in 2016, I got elected, I think, mostly because of the border. But that border was nothing compared to what you have right now. We put up all that wall. We got Mexico to give us thousands of soldiers free of charge. I said to them, look, if you don't give them, I'm going to put tariffs on your cars coming over. But other than, and they said, first they said, we are not going to do that. After I said the tariffs, they said, sir, it would be our honor to give you as many soldiers as you'd like. And we had a very safe border, and we did a good job. And most of these things that you'd watch now or that you read about, I think all of them, they would have never happened. The day I take the oath of office, the migrant invasion ends and the restoration of our country begins. And when you vote on Tuesday, vote in honor of Jocelyn and Laken Riley of Georgia and Rachel Morin and every American who has been stolen from us by Kamala's border betrayal. It's a total betrayal. Remember, not once in 4 years did she call anybody in Border Patrol. How are we doing? I called them all the time. I drove them crazy. How are we doing? How's it going? Never once did she call. Never once did she visit. She visited one time in an area that had nothing to do. You know, she liked it. But essentially, never once did she visit. If she wins, you will live the rest of your life as second-class citizens in your own country. That's what's happening. I used to say, not so long ago, Venezuela went bad. You know, Venezuela 18 years ago was a thriving country. They had elections, they had everything. And then one day it went bad. And the same thing happened there as happened here. Same kind of scum that we have to deal with all the time. Guys like Adam Shifty Schiff, can you believe it? Fake investigations all the time. The use of the FBI and the DOJ to go after their political opponent who's kicking their ass. Isn't that great? But our nation will be look, we're going to be dominated by this migrant invasion soon. And if she ever won, she would open the border the first day. Steve would agree with this. They'll open the border. They want open borders. I don't know why. Nobody knows why. Either they hate our country, or they maybe want to put them on the voting rolls. That's probably the reason. Or they're stupid, but they're not stupid, because you can't be so stupid when you do what they do in elections, right? If I win, the American people will be the rulers of this country again. The United States is now an occupied country. Can you imagine I say that and nobody disputes it? If you take a look at what's happening in Colorado and Aurora, take a look where they're taking over complexes of apartments and big swaths of area. But all over the country it's happening. A lot of towns don't like to say it because they think it's bad publicity and people won't move into that town or that little city. But it's the big cities too. It's New York and Chicago and Los Angeles. But it will soon be an occupied country no longer. It's not going to take long. You know, these guys come in, they're vicious, violent, and like military age, but they have military quality equipment, military quality guns, rifles, equipment. November 5th, 2024 will be Liberation Day in America. It's going to be Liberation Day. On day one, I will launch the largest deportation program in American history. I will rescue every city and town that has been invaded and conquered. These towns, think of those words. These towns are being invaded and conquered. What the hell? And nobody disputes me on that. And we will put the vicious and bloodthirsty criminals in jail or kick them the hell out of our country as fast as we can. And to expedite removals of Trendy, Aragua, that's the big gang, the vicious gang from Venezuela, and MS-13 and other gangs. They're savages, savage gangs, savage people. They're savage people, actually. I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. See how far back we have to go? Because they didn't play games back then. They weren't politically correct. They wanted to run a country, and sometimes you have to be strong. 1798 to target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil. We'll get it done fast. And if they come back into our country, it's an automatic 10 years in jail with no possibility of parole. And I am hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or a law enforcement officer. And I will immediately ban all sanctuary cities in the United States of America. They're sanctuaries for criminals. Everything Kamala says is a lie. She has no vision, no ideas. She has no solutions for anything. In fact, all she can talk about, this was the other night, they'd ask her a question, say, Donald Trump did this, Donald Trump did that. All she can say is, Donald Trump.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I will speak about Donald Trump. 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 Trump.
What the hell did I have to do with it? That's all she talked. What are you going to do for the economy? Donald Trump? Man, is she bad? How about 60 Minutes? You see that? Where 60 Minutes defrauded the American public. You saw that? She gave an answer that was so bad, it was grossly incompetent. It was like taking 1,000 words and throwing them on a wall. And so they did something that I never thought, that I never even heard of. They took her entire answer out, every word, Steve. Every word taken out, and they inserted a new answer, and they got caught. So watch what happens. We actually, on your behalf, if you don't mind, we sued CBS and 60 Minutes, okay? Because you know what that is? That's election interference fraud. So their news organization, 60 Minutes is their star. CBS's news organization in the middle of an election, think of that, changed the answer to a question in its entirety, right? I mean, I don't know how they respond to it, but they'll figure a way, I guess. But we did. We brought a suit on Friday against them for a lot of money. That's so terrible. No, I've never heard of a thing like that. I think it's the worst, most egregious broadcast fraud I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of bad things happen with these people, but that's about the worst I've seen. Kamala's campaign is running on nothing but hate and demonization, calling half of America now garbage, you know. Joe got up and he said, they're garbage, you're garbage, I'm garbage. Meanwhile, Kamala says she would not do anything different. I won't do one thing different. What would you do differently? Remember the 325,000 children. Wouldn't that be nice if they handled it differently? Remember all of these things that we talk about tonight? She said, I wouldn't do anything different. Take a look.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
I stood there on the tarmac. I stood there on the tarmac watching you check your watch.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Well, this is the other one that they don't want you to see and don't want you to hear. So while this is running, I can tell you what that news was since we have a minute here. These pollsters are all over the place. Now NBC comes out and says that, there's trouble for Kamala. Well, what's the trouble for Kamala? Trump is ahead by 16 points over people who haven't voted yet. The only reason I'm telling you is that Miss Judy, who's concerned, over the next few days, you're going to hear all kinds of garbage. It's going to be incessant. It's not going to stop. All you're going to hear is them basically vomiting on themselves, trying to tell you this number and that number. None of it makes sense. And then now NBC just picks something completely out of somebody's rear end and says, hey, oh, by the way, Trump's 16 points ahead amongst people who haven't voted yet. I can't speak to that. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. But back to Trump, because that was what just came out literally 30 minutes ago.
We have to stop what's going on in our country. We're not going to have a country anymore. This will be Venezuela on steroids. We're pleased to be joined by House Majority Leader, a great person. He's been through hell. And he was shot, violently and viciously shot. And I told him before, you're better looking now than you were years ago prior to that. But I tell you, you are something. This man was... I went to visit him in the hospital, and one thing I found out, his wife loves him. She was so devastated. I've been to areas where the wives didn't care that much. This wife, he's got a great wife, and she loves him. She was so devastated she couldn't even think. Steve Scully, stand up, Steve. Look great. Amazing. He got hit hard, Mike, right? He got hit hard. He's a great guy. Thank you, Steve, very much. Say hello to your wife and family. Members of Congress, Greg Murphy and Dan Bishop. Thank you, fellas. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Real champions. Candidate for Congress, and this is a fantastic woman. She has my complete and total endorsement. Lori Buckout. Lori Buckout. Great. Oh. She's something, I'll tell you. I hear you're doing very well. I looked at some good poll numbers. You're doing very well. Close it out. Get out, vote for her. Lori's great. And North Carolina GOP Chairman Jason Simmons. Jason, what a job. Great. We're doing good, right? Yeah, we're doing good. Looks like good. Looks like real good. Somebody told me they pulled out. You know what pulling out means? That means they pulled out. They took their money and they ran because they weren't seeing good. I shouldn't tell them that, but, I guess people will figure it out. It might as well be the one. Yeah, they pulled out. I also want to send our prayers to everyone here in North Carolina who's still recovering from this unbelievable hurricane, the size of it, Hurricane Helene. Kamala's hurricane response was a disgrace and it was a betrayal. It was just reported that almost 50% of phone calls sent to FEMA were unanswered. They didn't answer. They don't have the money because they're bringing in all the criminal migrants. You cannot trust this person to be president of the United States. She destroyed San Francisco, and she will destroy our country. We're not going to let it happen. Here are the facts, just in closing. Kamala is a radical left Marxist, rated even worse than crazy Bernie Sanders or Pocahontas herself. She destroyed our economy. She was an original creator of defund the police movement. And anybody who wants to defund the police for even 1 week or 1 day is not worthy of being president of the United States to me. Kamala vowed to abolish ICE, and she pledged to confiscate your guns and endorsed a total ban on handgun ownership. She even called for free sex changes for illegal aliens in detention at taxpayer expense. And perhaps, worst of all, she never worked at McDonald's. No, it was a lie. It was a lie. She's a liar. With your vote on Tuesday, we are going to fire Kamala. We are going to save America. We will cut your taxes, end inflation, slash your prices, raise your wages, and bring thousands of factories back to America. And we're going to bring them back, a lot of them back to North Carolina. We love this place. It's always been so good, just so good. We will build American, we will buy American, and we will hire American. I will end the war in Ukraine. Would have never happened if I were president. I will stop the chaos in the Middle East, and I will prevent World War III, most importantly, from happening. I mean, we got people negotiating on our behalf. They don't have a clue. You'll end up in World War III. Yeah, it's true. We will crush violent crime and give our police the support, protection, resources, and respect that they so dearly deserve. We will strengthen and modernize our military. I rebuilt our entire military. We then gave a big chunk to Afghanistan. Wasn't that a lovely gift? And now every year they have a parade where they go down their main boulevard showing our beautiful equipment that we gave them so stupidly. We will build a missile defense shield, all made in the USA. Big one, big beauty. A lot of it's going to be made right here in North Carolina. We will rebuild our cities, including our capital in Washington, D.C. We will get all the graffiti off of those beautiful marble columns. And we'll make those cities safe, clean, and beautiful again. We will teach our children to love our country, to honor our history, and to always respect our great American flag. We will get critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell off our schools and out of our schools. I will defend religious liberty. I will restore free speech, and I will defend the right to keep and bear arms, Second Amendment, which is under siege. After years of building up foreign nations, defending foreign borders, and protecting foreign lands, we're finally going to build up our nation, defend our borders, and protect our citizens and our lands. We will stop illegal immigration once and for all. We will not be invaded. We will not be occupied. We will not be overrun. We will not be conquered. We will be a free and proud nation once again. Everyone will prosper, every family will thrive, and every day will be filled with opportunity and hope. And of course, it will be filled with the American dream once again. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris and stop her left-wing, radical, crazy agenda of open borders and all other things. And we're going to have on Tuesday a landslide that's too big to rig. Too big to rig. Right, Mike? Right? So please get out and vote. Get your husband. I know he'd like to watch television that day. Say, Harry, get the hell out of this because you're going to vote for the president today, Harry. But, darling, I'd like to watch a little more television. Get up, Harry. We know who the boss is, right? For the past 9 years, we have been fighting against the most sinister and corrupt forces on earth. With your vote in this election, most important election we've ever had, you can show them once and for all that this nation does not belong to them. This nation belongs to you. It's very simple. It was hard-working patriots like you who built this country. And 2 days from now, think of it, 2 days. Oh, it's so beautiful. 2 days from now, it is hard-working patriots like you who are going to save our country. After all we have been through together, we stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in American history. We'll get it turned fast. With your help, from now until Election Day, 2 days. We will restore America's promise, and we will take back the nation that we love so much. We love our nation. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. We will never give in. We will never give up. We will never back down, and we will never, ever surrender. Right, Steve? Together we will fight, 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 and we will win, win, win. Gonna win, win, win. November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country, and you will be so proud that you cast your vote the way you did. And together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. It's going to be so strong. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much, North Carolina, and God bless you all. God bless you. Go and vote. Thank you, Mike. Great. Very happy. Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody.
All right, so rally number 2 of the day has wrapped up. This one in Kinston, North Carolina. He's got one more today. I don't know how his voice is going to basically make it, but he's doing everything he can to finish this off strong. He finally basically talked his voice out. He doesn't seem to have a cold or anything, but he looks like those vocal cords are just strained to the max. So we got one more rally tonight. It was supposed to start at 6:30. Notice I said supposed to. That ain't going to happen. So he's in Kinston, North Carolina right now. It looks like it's about an hour, 20-minute flight time from New Bern to outside of Macon. So by the time he gets off, it's going to be 5:30. By the time he takes the motorcade to the airport, give it 30 minutes. Get up, get the flight time. That's 6:30. Motorcade to the event site. We're talking 7:15. So if you'd like to join me for the for the last event of the evening, I'm going to make it worth your while. So I want you to come back at 7:15, 7:30. I'll set it for 7:15. May bounce it to 7:30 based upon me, taking a notice as to what he's doing and how the travel looks. So I'll put it at 7:15, but don't be surprised if we end up bumping it to 7:30 to make sure he's got time to get in. So here's what we're going to do at 7:30 tonight to make sure to entice you to join me. Just come on back. We got one more tonight. One more. You can make it. We're going to give away 5 hoodies tonight. 5 hoodies tonight. Just come on back. If you haven't entered, let me go ahead and post that if you haven't entered as of yet. If you haven't entered, go to fanfareshop.org and enter to win the hoodie. fanfareshop.org, and we'll give away 5 of them tonight. I figure, what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and keep Ashley busy next week packing up stuff. I know she's going to love me for that one. Her and Tyler. But Trump, he's dancing his way back to his limo. Doesn't seem to have a care in the world, so why should we? We were talking earlier, and I think the lady's name was Judy. And Judy was saying she was fearful. And I knew what the answer to the question was. I asked her, I said, what is making you fearful? What did you hear that Trump is falling behind? And I knew what the answer was, because it's obvious. Well, I heard it on Fox. So that was the answer to the problem. I don't know what's happened to Fox. I don't know if it's based upon Paul Ryan still being there. I don't know if they're just trying to keep listeners in tune or in step. Not really sure what's going on with that. But in any event, don't take it from me. Don't worry about me saying it. This morning, I just want to show it right now so people know it's not me saying, hey, Barry said don't listen to Fox. No, don't take it from me. Let's see what Donald Trump says about Fox News. If we believe Trump and we follow Trump, and then we should understand the words that he's saying. So when I report something of that nature to you, I do it because of something that he has said. And I'm trying to find it. It was this morning. But he specifically said, don't listen to Fox News. Now, let me see if I can find it. I thought it was this morning at about 11 o'clock. I'm going through his stuff here. And I can't seem to find it. But he went scorched earth on them and said, don't listen. Oh, here it is, right here. Bingo. All right. Let me go ahead and pull this up for those of you, especially Judy, who may not have seen this. Okay, Judy, there it is. Fox News keeps putting on Democrat ads as a part of their news program. Their sound bites are almost all of Harris and her Democrat friends, all of whom are on the shows. In giant capital letters, Fox News is not our friend. It's crazy. So I didn't make that up. I've heard it before. I've heard him say it multiple times, but he said that again at 9:42 this morning. So, Judy, I'm just going to propose this to you, and I'm talking specifically to you and anybody else who feels fearful. That those are the words that you used. And I asked you why you were fearful, and you said Fox News said that things were, he's falling behind in Ohio. Now you know. Don't watch it. Go outside, touch grass, you got a garden, do some gardening. Ignore the media. They don't know what to do. Things are happening minute by minute. Oh, he's up by 10, he's down by 10. He's up by 6, oh, he's down by... They don't know what they're doing. They can't make up enough stuff to cover what's really, really happening. They can't throw enough money at Polymarket. Every single person who is going to vote one way or the other, they're not changing their minds right now. The only difference is who's going to come out. Who is actually going to get off their duff on Tuesday, because early voting is just about over, if not over. So that's the only variable. There are no undecideds. It is specifically the variable of who's going to turn up. Are the Democrats going to turn out? Are the Republicans going to turn out? Is the black vote going to come out? Is the Hispanic vote going to come out? That's the only variable. All these polls mean crap right now. There is nobody has a crystal ball. And all of them are basically saying stuff to appease the people they need to appease and try to influence people at the last minute. I've said to you before, just watch what people are doing. Do they look like they're people who are confident that they're winning, or they look like people who feel, oh my God, what are we going to do? We've got 48 hours. And I'm looking at a man closing out. And he knows where he needs to do. He's in North Carolina. He was in Pennsylvania. Tomorrow, just so you know, let me bring this up. Tonight is in Macon, Georgia. Making bacon. Tomorrow we got Raleigh, North Carolina. Oh, I can actually put this up so you guys can see it. Raleigh, North Carolina, again at 10 o'clock in the morning. Then we got back to Pennsylvania for 2. You're going to go to Reading, and then from Reading, you're going to go to Pittsburgh. And then he's over to Michigan for a late night rally at 10:30 at night. More than likely, as this schedule gets bounced through the day, this thing in Michigan may not get off the ground until midnight. Lord help me. Give me the energy. Give him the energy. Give me the energy too. Robin's got me taking these patches of vitamins. So yeah, I keep my vitamins up. Eat right. Get some rest. Rest is for the weary. We'll rest after. Wednesday, we'll get some rest. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we'll get some rest. Just like he's got 48 hours to finish this off, I got 48 hours to finish this off. Because then Tuesday night, we got the election. And Oh, it's all happening, people. It's right there. All right, so the media is our worst enemy. Yeah, they know what's happening. This man just sued CBS for $10 billion. Don't think he's not suing NBC. I bet you hear Monday that he's suing NBC. Why? Well, you broke the FCC rules by giving Kamala extra time on Saturday Night Live. You didn't invite Trump on Saturday Night Live. That's going to be another lawsuit. I'm telling you, it's coming. And he's picking off these media people one by one. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. It's going to happen. And we get to sit and not speak. Yep, got to be careful what you say here. Absolutely. Very, very good. Where was that comment from Big Show? Big Show says, God did not give you a spirit of fear. Absolutely. Dave, you're absolutely right. Rest is hard for the next 10 days. It's going to be insane because after the election, I get a lot of people who say, Barry, what are you going to do after the election? Well, those of you who have watched my videos, I've been telling you, the election is just when it starts. We get him to the finish line and he wins, then all hell is going to break loose. You're going to be bombarded with all kinds of crap. I even saw it in here. Well, I understand it. Jamie Raskin's going to do this, and the Democrats are going to do that, and so how are you going to know what they're doing and what they're? That's what I'm telling you. There's going to be a buffet of news after November 5th. Between November 5th and January 20th, whatever it is, that's a long period of time. You got early November to mid-January. It's, over 2 months. And then you got to throw the holidays in there. So you know what's going to be happening. You know the Antifa, the Black Bloc people are going to go absolutely BS. Now, how I know that? Well, why are they putting, the barbed wire around Washington, D.C.? Why are they boarding up stuff in Oregon and Washington? What do they know that they're not telling you? You would think the media would be like, hey, well, excuse me, why are you boarding up Oregon? That's a blue stronghold. Why would they even be thinking about boarding up in Oregon? Has anybody thought that? Has anybody asked them what the hell's going on in Oregon? What is going on in Washington State? Why are you guys boarding up? You guys should be, those two states should be two of the most safest states because it's in the tank. It's all Democrat. But no, they're boarding stuff up. Well, I can guarantee you Republicans ain't running around, messing around in Oregon and Washington State. So that would mean that the Democrats are bracing for craziness up there in Northwest. So who are they bracing for the violence from? Oh, it's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about on November 6th. Lots and lots. It's going to be a lot to talk about because we're probably going to see some states, well, we can't count all these votes. It's going to take us 2 weeks. That's what Trump was talking about this morning. It pissed off. State of Florida, one of the biggest states in the union. We're going to have Florida's numbers probably by 8:30, 9 o'clock. Done. Here you go. Wrapped up in a bow. Done. So why is it that Florida can get their shit together and these other states need weeks? 12, 13 days? Georgia, what's going on? How could you possibly not have the numbers? Every 4 years now we're going through the same stuff, which means that's why they're terrified of Trump. He's going to fix all this. It's crazy. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about after the election. A lot. So let me get to the super chat so I can go eat dinner. I want to eat some din-din. And then we'll see you back here about 7:15, 7:30ish. But we'll keep an eye on things so we know specifically when to do this. Okay. I don't know if I have time for a pre-show, so it might just be, I might just cut in just as he's taking the stage. We'll see how much time we have available to do something like that. All right, here we go. Deborah Noble, in the Bible, blood on right ear symbolizes consecration and purification. God setting someone apart for divine purpose dedicated to God symbolizes their purification and restoration. I didn't know that. And thank you. Deborah Noble, thank you. As it's written, God will restore to President Trump and America the years the locusts have eaten. You guys are good. Christopher Smock, God very bless you. And Donald J.D. Vance, please, fanfare fans, eat the red pill. Swallowed it a while ago. Janice Marie Colon, anyone know when YouTube will have a version of the closed caption button? All right, so let me just address that real quick. YouTube has a closed caption option, especially on recorded videos. On live videos, they have it if you are specifically recording or basically casting on YouTube. I don't cast on YouTube. I use a third-party software that allows me to cast to X and to YouTube at the same time, and that software I use does not integrate with YouTube to allow for closed captions. I hope that explains that. Mama Mima, how crazy! I'll find out more if they can enable something from my tech guys. Mama Mia, how crazy would it be if Biden pardoned Trump? He can't. He can't. Understand that it's not a federal case. And that was the tricky part about New York. That's a state level case. The only person who could pardon him would be Kathy Hochul, which that ain't gonna happen. Lion, 100 mil strong, can't be wrong. Deliverance, despair, deliverance is near. Camel Toe Harris, wow. We got the Muslims and the Amish on the same side. That should tell you everything. It should tell you a lot. Belinda Block, thank you, Barry. That's only 15 after conversion rate. No problem. Never going to turn something away. Deborah Noble, Trump shot at 6:11, and Ephesians 6:11 says, God is speaking to us. Put on the full armor of God so that you can stand against the devil's schemes. All the power of hell cannot prevail. Well said. John Parr, Mitchell, Big Mike. I can't say it. You can see it. I can't say it. Mama Mima, thank you. As a single mom raising grandsons at 61, just adopted 2 spells and toddlers, what I wouldn't give to have a loving man, a true partner to stand up for me. Weary of being the men of the house, my grandmother needed a real man. I hear you. Windy Pine Stable. Stand up, Trump supporters, and stay true. Trump is going to win. Align your heart and brains and put your big boy pants on. Love that. Love what some of you guys are commenting here. Kathleen, in tears. Trump has worked harder than any politician in my lifetime, and I'm retired. He has put everything on the line for our country. Stand strong. We're in this fight with him. Well said. Wayne Baudette, thank you. Marcus, brother. Last thing was a sarcastic joke on a comment I said you didn't read I sent. Huh? No fear, no remorse, just prepare and don't watch news. Okay. Mikey Starks, doing great, brother. Thank you very much. Chase Homestead, thank you, Barry. What has been done for evil, God will use for his good. Very well said. Patricia Russell, thank you. Just another knucklehead. The only time I see any of the fake news is when you show it to me, Barry. I removed all those new channels from my dish playlist. Put me in, coach. Yeah. It's insane. Right now, it's complete pandemonium. I mean, they're running around with chickens with their heads cut off. They don't know what to do. To the point where they had to make a story about Trump's comment about the glass, the bulletproof glass at the last rally. That's how bad that is. Bella Clyde, thank you so much for all your work. Thank you for watching. Nikki Esselman, Trump equals Trump really upsets the most people. Donna, again, as I recall, he cucked behind the podium all nice and suited up. Then security jumped him, and he came back up with his shirt and jacket hanging off, the loose hair messed up, and shoes gone. I'll tell you, that was gangster to me. When he's like, I got to get my shoes, man. I ain't going nowhere. He's probably got like $2,000 shoes. I'm like, I ain't leaving these shoes here. Marcus B., thank you. Roger Gardner, I don't answer polls, Barry, so I don't get on a list. Dems have stated years ago that they have a list of Trump supporters. Yep, data. If you early voted, John Parr says, psyops is wasted on you. Exactly. That is so true. Just go ahead and vote and ignore all the other stuff. There's nothing else. They're going to say what they're going to say. There's nothing you're going to do that's going to stop them from saying what they're going to say. You voted, so it doesn't matter anymore. Don't listen. Thomas Armento, thank you very much. Too much dooming and glooming going on. If you believe God is with us, then there's no doubt who will win on Tuesday. Side note, Barry, do you think we'll get a Trump tweet? My fellow Americans, the storm is upon us. If you know, you know. I know. I think there's quite a few people who know what you know in here. Judy Spiegel, misinformation, don't fall for it. Christine Engler, what I heard from this morning's rally that others may have missed was when Trump said these guys worked in the basements for months. You don't want them after you. Terry Below, why doesn't Trump tell the people that military ballots weren't mailed? Love you and family. Thanks for all you do. Because he's got so much that he talks about. This news happens so quickly. He's got a staged speech. His speech says he stays within the barriers, except for this morning he kind of went off. T-Mac, thank you, Barry, for all you do. Love watching your channel. Thank you. Tania, thank you, Barry, for encouraging us when at times we may have been discouraged, found it difficult to be positive over this election. Yeah, we got this. Naomi, I'm so proud of Donald Trump. He's 12 years older than me. He's on 62 days straight. He's working hard. Tell me about it. Lloyd B. Concerns? No, I got a big bag of red pills and I'm popping them like M&Ms. You go, boy. Christine Engler again, put on all the pieces of armor of God, your helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, belt of truth, shoes of the gospel of peace, pick up your shield of faith and take up your sword. Well said. Paula Guerri. And about that, tomorrow I'm going to be talking, JJ, the pastor that I work with, who does prayer nights, going to come on, I think, at the third event at about 6:30. We're going to do some prayers in advance of the vote. You guys have asked for that. Dave, they call us garbage. Joe was told we are garbage, and we regurgitate it live on camera. Replacement migration. Yep. Joe Santini, my wife and I try to never miss any of your shows because of your insightful comments and entertaining way of sharing truthful common sense and optimism. Continued success and blessings to you. Thank you very much. Ernest Walker, excuse me. Caution, the Dems are doing a great shift in the mainstream to show that Kamala is winner of all votes to fake out the Republicans to not vote. Exactly. So don't fall for it. Randy, thank you. Landslide or I'll eat Barry's hat. Bee Gees woke to the dream this morning of a pastor and Trump fighting a spiritual physical war. Enemy and dream was evil. Woke up to what Trump was speaking and Barry having church and a need to fight hard. Gotta fight hard. It's only going to get tougher. It really will. Randy, Rupert Murdoch's son runs Fox now. He's a lib. Yep. And I've heard varying things about Newsmax. I'm not really sure about them either. But where are we going to go? Barry, will everyone be put back in the drawing for Tuesday? If you registered before, your name is in there. You're locked in, so you're good. Trump up 16 points was a single to their base. Yep, help. I think that too is a clarion call out there. Dems are going to force a recount again and again and again, no doubt. And I hope during that recount, Trump's got a bunker someplace where he can just go to and flip a camera and do a speech or do whatever. Just don't get into the fray. Where was I? Mama Mima, a tropical storm forming in the Gulf. Of course. John Torres, once he wins the election, it's up to us to make sure he makes it to January so he can take office. Absolutely. See, also you have to know that once he's elected and he's the president-elect, then a whole bunch of other security is deployed at that point. He's president-elect. He's not a candidate. So he's going to have access to a lot more security. Pao Zhao Li, I used to preach a message each Sunday morning at 2 different churches, and it would wear me out. How Trump keeps going is nothing but by the strength that comes from God. I hear you on that one. Moshe G, with the way he looked going to plane, he was doing his best Undertaker impression. a true look of confidence. Dolly Beloya, win. Too big to rig. God bless America, and we love Trump from Switzerland. Wow. And Mary Carper, thank you very much. Not only did Trump, this is Critter, not only did Trump ask about his shoes in Butler, he also wanted his hat. That's right, too. I remember that. And let me go with this one. Cheryl Key, thank you very, very much. I'm a first-time voter at 65, and I wanted to thank you, Barry, for keeping us positive and calming our fears. My husband doesn't miss any of your rally coverages because you keep it real and keep us pumped up for the fight to save our country. I love you here in Texas. You know, hearing that kind of stuff is what also motivates me. Like Trump walks out into an audience of 20,000 people, and it's like getting a shot of B12. Hearing you guys say that you appreciate what I say and how I say it, and I know there's some detractors, but when I look at the analytics and see 99% approval, that's what gets me going. So thank you very, very much for that. Let me put a nice heart on that. Let me see if I read this one early. Mary Carper, I did read it, but I'll go ahead and like it. And then I think this is the last one. His shoes and his hat. All right, so I've got everybody at this point. So tomorrow, just so I can recap here, tomorrow we have the rally in Pittsburgh is going to be around 6:30. I'm going to shoot to have a prayer night with JJ right before that rally. But before then, see you in about 2 hours. We're gonna try and do this thing about 7:15, but something tells me it's going to get bounced to 7:30 or so. And then we'll get together. Thanks for watching. Again, I'm going to use a disclaimer because somebody told me about the possibility of seizures. This outro that I use is really flashy, lots of lights and changes. So if you have seizures, maybe you just want to bounce now. Otherwise, we'll talk to you in a little while.